It's been a bit of a shock. However much one tries to prepare oneself for something like this, it's still a dreadful shock, and we're still trying to come to terms with that. And it's very, very sad. But I have to say that the extraordinary tributes and the memories that everybody has had and been willing to share has been so fantastic. It means so much to so many people here, and it's the same for those who lived and worked at Balmoral and Sandringham. They all have their own personal memories and stories.
Big changes could be coming to the royal family, and the news is more personal than ever. Insiders close to the palace say Prince Edward the Duke of Edinburgh recently shared some major revelations about King Charles III's final wishes during a private family gathering. What he revealed left even longtime royal staff surprised. This isn't just about the line of succession. According to those in the know, King Charles is making bold choices about who gets what power, wealth, and influence that could reshape the future of the monarchy. At the center of it all is Princess Catherine. Sources say the king now sees her not just as a daughter-in-law, but as a true daughter. And in his will, she's reportedly been given a huge share of responsibility and fortune, marking a major shift in royal tradition. With Charles still undergoing cancer treatment, the timing of these updates feels deeply emotional. People close to him say he's always been thoughtful and reserved, often putting duty first, but now it seems he's speaking more from the heart. This moment goes beyond formalities. It shows a king who sees his family not just as heirs to a throne, but as individuals who've grown through hard times and stood by him in moments of crisis. Prince Edward, known for his quiet loyalty and discretion, is said to have shared the king's wishes during a heartfelt conversation at Balmoral. It was a private family moment filled with emotion, especially as the reality of Charles's health sets in. While he continues to fight his illness, Charles remains active and hopeful. Still, those around him are aware of the seriousness of his condition. His treatments have been intense, with both encouraging signs and tough setbacks. Throughout it all, his siblings, especially Edward and Princess, have stepped up, continuing the legacy of their late mother with grace and strength. And Edward's role as the messenger? Insiders say it's because he's deeply trusted and stays out of the spotlight, unlike William and Harry, whose every move is watched. This isn't just royal gossip, it's a powerful moment that shows a different side of the monarchy. One shaped by real feelings, deep loyalty, and brave decisions that could change everything we thought we knew about the future of the crown. If you want more on what's happening behind palace doors, make sure to subscribe and stick around. There's much more to uncover. While royal families are often known for tradition and ceremony, King Charles's final wishes reflect a clear modern vision for the future. Despite past tensions within the family, Charles has long worked to keep everyone united. And now his will confirms that he's thinking ahead, not just emotionally, but strategically. One of the most striking details? He's made it clear that Prince William should become king immediately after his passing, with no delays. That might sound expected. William is next in line after all. But the emphasis on a fast, seamless handover shows Charles's deep desire to keep the country stable during what will surely be a difficult time. Behind palace walls, there's growing anticipation. For William, the idea of becoming king isn't some far-off possibility anymore. It's becoming very real very soon. Royal insiders say that Charles has personally made sure William is prepared, much like Queen Elizabeth II did for Charles decades ago. In recent years, William and Charles have grown closer. Facing family drama, health scares, and public pressures has only strengthened their bond. And as Charles's health has gone through ups and downs, William has quietly stepped in, taking on more public duties, handling major events, and showing clear signs he's ready to lead. This isn't just about wearing a crown. It's about carrying on a legacy. For Charles, naming William as the immediate successor sends a strong message. The monarchy must stay steady, especially in uncertain times like these. And while the transition plan is practical, it's also emotional. William is not only stepping into the role of king, he's doing it under the weight of his father's legacy, and with the hope of living up to the example set before him. There's also the question of family unity. Prince Harry's strained relationship with the royals still lingers in the background. Will William be able to mend fences, or will the divide grow deeper? King Charles, according to Prince Edward's account, still hopes for reconciliation. But his priority, as laid out in the will, is ensuring the monarchy doesn't falter. As William gets closer to the throne, all eyes are on him and on Princess Catherine, who continues to be a steady, supportive presence by his side. Together, they represent the future of the royal family. Modern, relatable, and prepared for whatever comes next. Behind palace walls, something extraordinary has taken place, something that even those closest to Princess Catherine didn't see coming. When Prince Edward quietly revealed the contents of King Charles's will, one part stood out and left everyone speechless. Princess Catherine isn't just being honored, she's being entrusted with a level of power and wealth that goes far beyond what anyone expected. According to royal insiders, King Charles has decided to treat Catherine not as a daughter-in-law, but truly as his own daughter. This wasn't a symbolic gesture, it came with real weight. We're talking about significant assets, prime properties, family jewels, and a seat at the table when it comes to shaping royal priorities and decisions. Why such a bold move? It all comes down to their deep bond. Over the years, and especially during their shared struggles with cancer, Catherine and Charles have grown incredibly close. She's been there for him, offering quiet strength and support when he needed it most. And Charles has never hidden his admiration for her grace, strength, and compassion. Sources say some of the most touching moments between them happened in private, laughing together, sharing advice, and opening up during quiet times at Windsor. Charles has even referred to her as a pillar during his treatment. This inheritance isn't just about giving Catherine money or titles. It gives her access to major resources from the Duchy of Lancaster's finances to royal estates and the ability to lead charitable foundations. It's a move that puts real influence in her hands, something usually reserved for heirs, not consorts. Traditionally, spouses of future monarchs receive only modest recognition in wills. But Charles is doing things differently. He sees Catherine as the face of the monarchy moving forward, modern, relatable, and deeply committed. And that's why he's making sure she's financially secure and has a real voice in the institution's future. The decision has raised eyebrows even among the royals. Some are amazed by the gesture. Others quietly question how this will affect the balance among family members. But the motivation behind it is clearly personal. Charles wants to honor the bond they've built and ensure Catherine's role continues to grow regardless of what happens next. As his health continues to be closely monitored, stable, but still uncertain, this clause in the will guarantees that Catherine will remain a powerful central figure in the royal family. She's no longer just the poised princess at public events. She's being positioned as a key leader in the monarchy's next chapter. As the royal family looks to the future, they're also quietly preparing for one of its most emotional moments. Away from the spotlight, Prince Edward and Princess and have taken on a deeply personal responsibility, planning the funeral of their brother King Charles III. These preparations aren't new. According to palace insiders, discussions quietly began after Charles's cancer diagnosis, with Edward and leading the way. They're not strangers to this role, and has walked in royal processions before honoring both their parents. Edward has always been the calm, dependable presence during difficult times. But this time, it's different. It's their brother. The work they're doing now is as much about love as it is about duty. Planning is happening behind closed doors at Highgrove and Balmoral, where memories often resurface. There have been tears, sources say, but also a strong sense of purpose. Edward is managing logistics, working closely with royal staff, and drawing from the plan known internally as Operation Menai Bridge, the official codename for the king's funeral. And known for her no-nonsense attitude, is focused on making sure the service reflects Charles's values, especially his deep commitment to the environment. Together, they're balancing centuries of royal tradition with the king's personal touch. Everything is being carefully considered, from who will be invited to what flowers will be used to the hymns that will be sung. And in keeping with Charles's wishes, sustainability will be a central theme. This isn't just protocol, it's a tribute to the man they know best, not just as king, but as a brother. As Charles continues treatments showing strength, but also signs of wear from the process, the urgency behind the planning has grown. But there's no panic, just quiet dedication. Those involved describe it as a labor of love, honoring the king's life with dignity while dealing with the weight of what's to come. Even rehearsals for the processions have begun, though most of it remains hidden from public view. A few details have started to surface through leaks and whispers. A state funeral at Westminster Abbey, followed by a solemn procession to Windsor. Prince Edward's earlier reveal of Charles's will is said to be closely linked to these funeral talks. As plans for the final farewell took shape, so did the sharing of the king's final wishes, a reminder that this moment, while formal and historic, is also deeply human. What's unfolding behind palace doors is about more than ceremony. It's about two siblings quietly honoring their brother, making sure his final chapter reflects the life he lived with grace, purpose, and love. The plans for King Charles's farewell aren't just about tradition, they reflect the man he truly is. Sources close to the palace say the king has chosen to be laid to rest beside his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, in a ceremony that blends royal dignity with personal touches and deep values. Staying true to his lifelong commitment to the environment, Charles's funeral will include eco-friendly elements. This means a biodegradable coffin, carbon-neutral transportation, and tree planting in his memory, led by Prince Edward as a lasting symbol of his green legacy. The service will bring together world leaders, friends, and family from across the globe. Even Charles's grandchildren are expected to take part, possibly reading tributes during the ceremony. The music will reflect the king's unique tastes, including classical works by Bach and some of his favorite folk pieces. Traditional hymns, like Jerusalem, will also be featured, honoring his deep connection to British culture. Princess Anne has insisted on full military honors given Charles's time in the Royal Navy. Guard from regiments he supported throughout his reign will stand in tribute. Edward, on the other hand, is focused on personal symbolic gestures, ensuring the ceremony mirrors Charles's passions and principles. One of the most emotional moments will be a private family vigil at Buckingham Palace. Much like Queen Elizabeth's, it will give close relatives a quiet chance to say goodbye. The public will also be invited to pay their respects during a period of national mourning, with Charles lying in state before the official funeral. While recent updates suggest Charles's condition is currently manageable, the royal family wants to be prepared. Behind the scenes, every detail is being finalized, including virtual elements, to allow global participation in a post-pandemic world. But this isn't just a farewell, it's a tribute to a reign marked by compassion, reform, and connection. From bridging divides within the family to advocating for important causes, Charles's legacy is being carefully honored. One key part of that legacy is how his personal fortune will be shared. As revealed by Prince Edward, Charles's will outlines a thoughtful distribution of his private wealth worth hundreds of millions, including estate's investments and priceless art collections. While the Crown estate stays with the monarch, Charles's personal assets will be split among his siblings. Not equally, but fairly based on each person's contributions and relationship with the king. For example, Princess Anne may receive increased support for her charity work, especially causes like Save the Children. Edward, known for his passion for the arts, could receive funds to support creative initiatives. Prince Andrew, though facing public criticism, is reportedly included as well, with a modest but respectful share to preserve dignity without controversy. This move breaks with the past, where most of the focus and the fortune went to the next monarch. Instead, Charles's will aims to bring the family closer, empowering each sibling in their own right and reducing dependence on the crown. Royal finances often stay hidden, but insiders say this approach helps avoid tension and shows Charles's desire for fairness, not favoritism. His goal, it seems, is to leave behind more than a title. He wants to leave behind unity. As final plans are quietly put into place, one thing is clear. King Charles's legacy will be about more than duty. It will be about heart, family, and making sure everyone who stood by him is seen, valued, and remembered. When it comes to royal protocol, nothing is left to chance, especially when preparing for the passing of a monarch in today's fast-moving world. Plans for King Charles's eventual passing have been carefully shaped using the well-established outline of Operation Menai Bridge, his version of Operation London Bridge, which was used for Queen Elizabeth II. The idea is to honor tradition while making sure everything moves quickly and smoothly in the digital age. It all begins the moment the king's doctors confirm his passing. That confirmation triggers a private, secure chain of alerts, starting with the Prime Minister, top government officials, and close family members. These messages are sent using secure lines to keep everything confidential until the time is right. This initial stage is often called the golden hour. It's a short, sacred window where the royal family gathers in private, usually at places like Buckingham Palace or Windsor, before the world is told. It gives them space to grieve without the immediate glare of cameras and headlines. After this quiet moment, the public announcement is made. The news will first be shared by the BBC, then quickly spread across official social media platforms like Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, as well as through the royal family's own channels. The goal is to reach the public quickly, respectfully, and clearly. We saw this process play out in 2022 when Queen Elizabeth passed. The news was shared with care and precision, bringing a sense of calm and stability at a delicate time. A similar plan is in place for King Charles, including traditional proclamations to be read at places like St. James's Palace, formally marking the beginning of the new monarch's reign without delay. Of course, King Charles's health plays a major role in how all this unfolds. As of July 2025, he's been living with cancer for over a year. The updates have been mixed. Some headlines suggest his condition may be serious or even untreatable, pointing to visible signs like a bloodshot eye during a recent appearance that have raised fresh concerns. But not all news is grim. Palace insiders say the king is managing the illness and continuing his royal duties. One senior aide noted in May that Charles is living with cancer, not losing to it. An important distinction. He's staying active whether through public events, coastal cleanups, or official visits at home and abroad. This mix of public strength and private struggle has created a watchful atmosphere. Behind the scenes, royal aides are carefully tracking both his health and his workload, ensuring everything is in place just in case. If King Charles's health takes a turn, the response will be immediate and deeply coordinated. The official announcement of his passing will be solemn and carefully planned, meant to bring the nation together in grief and reflection. There will be a black-bordered notice placed on palace gates, bells ringing across the UK, and a swift declaration of Prince William as the new king. These actions are meant not just to honor tradition, but also to steady public mood, global diplomacy, and financial markets. Behind the scenes, Prince Edward and Princess are overseeing detailed media preparations. They're combining age-old customs like muffled bell ringing with today's technology, making sure the message reaches the world clearly and respectfully. It's a careful balance of past and present. Think traditional morning dress paired with live streams and real-time updates. But this isn't just about protocol. Every step reflects King Charles's personal values: quiet service, stability, and dignity. The goal is to honor his wish that his passing causes as little disruption as possible to the country he served for decades. That's why palace teams are constantly rehearsing, preparing statements, and coordinating logistics just in case. Even now, as Charles continues to appear at public events, showing strength, but visibly fatigued, those closest to him know the moment could come at any time. And when it does, the world will pause. But one question still hangs in the air, and it's on the minds of royal insiders and watchers alike. What happens to Queen Camilla? Her future role remains unclear. According to what Prince Edward has shared, Camilla will be well looked after, but within traditional limits. She won't receive major authority or a large share of royal assets. Instead, she'll maintain her titles and enjoy a comfortable lifestyle, but without significant control over estates or royal decision-making. That means properties tied to the crown like Clarence House or Sandringham will pass directly to King William. Camilla is likely to keep access to her personal home, Ray Mill House in Wiltshire, which she owned before marrying Charles. It will serve as her private retreat away from the royal spotlight. This arrangement reflects Charles's practical thinking. While he clearly wanted Camilla to be secure and respected, he also followed long-standing royal customs that keep a queen consort's role mostly ceremonial after the monarch's passing. It's a delicate balance between tradition, legacy, and modern expectations, and one that continues to shape the royal family's future. Camilla has always been seen as King Charles's loyal companion, not someone positioned for power, but someone who stood by him through thick and thin. Their relationship, shaped by decades of public scrutiny and personal loyalty, has grown stronger, especially during his recent health struggles. Camilla has been a steady presence, quietly supporting him through every challenge. But now with the release of Charles's, a different reality is emerging. The king seems focused on keeping the monarchy tight and centered around blood relatives. While Camilla will be well provided for, she won't be stepping into a major leadership role once Charles is gone. The inheritance reflects this enough to maintain her lifestyle and dignity, but without the control or influence that comes with core royal power. Inside the palace, there's been quiet talk that Camilla is feeling the weight of this uncertainty. Beyond her public title, she's a woman who's shaped her entire life around Charles. And with Prince William preparing to take over, she's reportedly wondered what her place will be in this next chapter. There's also a more personal layer. Her children Tom and Laura Parker Bowles from her previous marriage. While they've never held royal roles, Charles is said to have had a warm relationship with them, especially with Tom as godson. Some insiders believe the king may have set aside private gifts or financial support for them in his personal estate, separate from crown assets, and protected from taxes under royal inheritance rules. Still, with William stepping into full control, it's likely the focus will narrow. Royal sources suggest William may prefer to keep the inner circle small, focusing on his immediate family. That could mean Camilla's children remain outside the royal fold, and her influence naturally fades over time. If Charles passes before her, Camilla would become the Queen Dowager, the title traditionally given to a monarch's widow. It's a respected role, but more symbolic than central. Whether she continues with public duties would depend on William's support and approval. Looking at history, like the Queen Mother after King George VI's passing, there's a chance Camilla could still appear at royal events. But she's also expected to take a quieter step back, spending more time on things she truly enjoys: reading, gardening, and supporting her favorite charities. In the end, her role in Charles's life won't be forgotten. She was a calming, steady force throughout his reign, a presence that helped bring peace to a king and stability to the crown. What happens next for Camilla remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: her chapter in royal history has already been written in loyalty and love.